Hey everyone, it's Luke here.
Hi, it's Shady.
And a big welcome to our guest for this week's video. Not only lifelong Milan supporter and super fan, but also club sponsor of Hawthorn and owner of Hawthorn Podiatry, Liz DeFazio. How's it going, Liz?
Good, thanks. Thanks for having me on the podcast. First time guest, but long time listener. So big fan of the show, and yeah, excited to be on and talk about Milan with you guys.
It's great to have you with us.
So I guess we'll start, Liz, where we always start with a guest on the show. For you just to talk about and go through kind of the start of your relationship and connection to the club, AC Milan, that is. Going back through the time.
Yeah, I think this is something that I found the most interesting in terms of watching some of the other guests come on. Shady, yours especially. Like I know here in Australia, one of the big kind of sources for watching Serie A back in the day was the World Game, which was screened on a Sunday. So I thought that was really interesting that was the kind of the similar story for you in the UK. So yeah, pretty much, I think it was just one of my friends from primary school was really into Serie A, and he was always raving about Shevchenko, and I was a football fan. So yeah, I've got Shevchenko on the back of this shirt.
Nice.
And yeah, I guess like something different I don't think is being discussed. So obviously watching the games was really difficult, but buying shirts was also something that was really challenging back in the day. So I guess like now we can order online and we can get like current club shirts, but I don't know if it was available, but my mum's boss used to travel to Italy fairly often. So we were really lucky. So if we wanted a shirt, we kind of had to like put in a request and hope that you got the one that you wanted when he brought them back. So I'm a Milan fan. The only one in my family. So the rest of my family follow Juventus. Which I seem to be a bit of a similar story. Seems to be only lone Milan fans in the family. So yeah, my brother is a big Juventus fan, but yeah, we managed to still get along okay. And yeah, we watch a game together. So that's pretty much my Milan story.
Oh, we're lucky to have you on our side then, not with the Juventini. Yeah.
Exactly.
So Liz, I mean, Shiva obviously arguably one of the best number 7s ever put on the red and black shirt. But was there a particular game that stood out for you? I mean, growing up, was there anything in particular? Was there like a turning point where you're like, okay, this is it, I'm a Milanista now? Was there, thinking back, does anything, strike you?
I think it wasn't just I don't think there was maybe like one game or one standpoint. I mean, I don't know if it's just Italy winning the World Cup in 2006, but I feel like that 2005, 6, 7 era of football, I don't know. I think it's like probably like one of my favorite memories, and I don't know if it was a really good era of football or it was just something that I have a connection to. But yeah, that kind of time period was, it was just, I think, big. I mean, obviously with the scandals that followed afterwards, but I just think it was kind of my peak following Italian football.
I do think though that a lot of people say this about that era of, I guess, sport in general, but it applies to Milan as well, that the personalities seemed different. I don't know what it was, but I feel like the players at Milan at the time, there was just a certain coolness, I guess, to them that you just wanted to watch them. They were superstars, genuine superstars.
It was a starting 11 of legends, basically. I mean, we basically had this. I mean, you could argue, and it's been argued a few times before, that we are kind of underperformed with the squad we had around about that time, from like 2003 to 2007. I think it's our squad. I mean, generally speaking, the quality of football was great. I mean, even the World Cup in 2006 was a really good World Cup. But I think the squad we had was just like, we did well. But I mean, it's argued that we could have done even better.
Do you think that comes down to maybe an over-reliance or us as a club placing a bigger importance on those European matches? And because we didn't win in terms of league, it seems like that wasn't as important for us around that time. Do you think that's why? Because we value European football so much, Liz?
I think so. I mean, I think the European success that we have over Juventus is something that's important to the club. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I can't recall back. I mean, I know now that we do a really good job in terms of balancing our squad and balancing our players to make sure that we're competitive in both competitions. And I guess like as the game's evolved with a more focus on, I guess, like the physical ability of players, maybe that's something that has improved. Maybe that was different back in the day. But I guess like into your point in terms of the personalities and culture of players, that's probably, I think, something that Gattuso has an internal crisis with most weeks. I know obviously not Milan related, but I saw the other week he was saying how, you know, he disagreed with having music in the change rooms, which I think would be something that would be fairly common across a lot of the clubs now. So I guess that's probably an indication that the culture has changed. And yeah, it was definitely a different time period and would have been a different, I guess, like vibes throughout the squad.
Agree. And also, I mean, I think 100% a lot of times have changed to begin with, but also I think the mentality at the time, I mean, Berlusconi was more interested in winning the Champions League. Ancelotti always said, I think he had a book or something, that I prefer the cup. He was never like, and I think his track record speaks for, I mean, he's a great coach, but he's always won for like the knockout competitions or the cup competitions. So I think we've always like gravitated towards the European glory, which is not a bad thing. Like Liz was saying, we've got 7 Champions League titles, and yeah, we can openly brag about that, having more than Inter and Juve combined. But I think, I mean, I'm old enough to remember that in 2006 season, we were playing the semi-final against Barcelona in the Champions League, and we had a game in Serie A. We're still in the running for Serie A. Juventus obviously went on to win it before Calciopoli, and they were stripped of the title. But I think we had a game down in the south. I can't remember if it was Bari or Lecce, and we drew it. I think either drew or lost. Either way, we dropped points, and then we went out to Barcelona in the second leg because we drew that game because we rested pretty much everyone, and then we played against Barcelona in the second leg of the semi-final, and we went out to semi-final. And I remember Rui Costa came out after that Barcelona game, and he was like, I was saying, he was very outspoken, which was a bit unusual, but he was like, I something along the lines of, I told everyone we should have focused on the Bari game first, or the Lecce, I don't know. Bari, I think. The Bari game first, but everyone was thinking about Barcelona already. Now we're out of both. Something like that. So I think it was a general trend, I mean, with the club just to be focused on the Champions League.
And I think if you look back through time, probably almost a big difference between clubs like Milan and Juventus is that we have had a focus like that. And I think a criticism of that era was that maybe players struggled motivation-wise to get up for those smaller games. Whereas I can't remember who it was, but I think this week it was like a Buffon or a Marchisio said that in one of his first games, I think they drew to a lesser, like a Lazio or something, and they recall Del Piero coming in and being absolutely like livid with the players, really angry, saying that a draw can never be accepted, that a draw is the same as a loss in a league match, which is probably something that wasn't, as you said, Shady, there in that era for Milan, that the importance of European football.
Yeah, I think we had a couple of close runs in 2005 and 6. Obviously, we won the Scudetto in 2004, but in 2005, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but we had a playoff. It wasn't a playoff. It was a match against Juventus towards the end of the season, and we lost 1-0, a Trezeguet goal, a header. And if we'd won that, we would have gone on to win the league. And it was, I think, maybe 2 games before the end of the league. And in 2006, like I was saying again, so we came close. And even in that Juventus game, in the 2005 game, there were a couple of questions. I mean, we had a couple of calls for penalties that were just waved away. Cafu, if I remember correctly, I think Cafu was pulled down by Zambrotta's with Juve at the time, but the ref, obviously, in the peak of like the Moggi era, he was like, the ref was not going to give that a second look. But anyways,
there was no VAR back in those days.
And you had Luciano Moggi. I mean, you had Moggi going into the referee's like dressing room, right?
Yeah. Hey, it might have actually been worse. We might have been able to see them, but not actually get the penalties. So maybe it's a good thing there was no VAR.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, speaking of Cuffle, you said that. Pat said that Cuffle was in his top 3. And linking into that, who are your top 3? We know that you're a big fan of that era of the 05-06 team. Who are your top 3 Milan players of all time, Liz?
Okay, wait, top 3 or players that I'd bring into the squad?
Well, we can do both if you want. Starting with top 3 of all time.
Okay, top 3 for me has to be Maldini, and I'd bring not top 3 best, but top 3 favorite. I'd bring Nesta back in. I love watching. Well, my favorite players are strikers, but love watching defenders as well. So bring those 2 in, and then bit of a niche, or one that I don't think's been mentioned, but Gilardino. I was a big Gilardino fan back in the day.
Yes.
So yeah, I think we could bring him back. Not sure how well he'd fit into the squad with his playing style, but at least he's a good finisher. So yeah, we could bring him back.
So are you telling Zlatan to sit on the bench for Gilardino?
Definitely not. I was thinking about this question, and Zlatan would be a player I'd love to bring back into the squad at the moment. So yeah, if we could have him, that would be great.
You could have him back.
I'm a bit surprised that Zlatan's not in your top 3 of all time, Liz, because I know for a fact that you're a big Zlatan fan.
I think I'm a big Zlatan fan, but I think that's independent to being a fan of Milan. I think, Zlatan's a great player, and I followed his entire career. His goal for Ajax, I think, has to be one of the best, where he takes on their whole team. So I mean, probably unlucky that he's missed out, but I think Maldini, Nesta, Gilardino, probably even Sheva would be my top 3-4 of AC Milan players.
I'll tell you what, Luke. I mean, Gilardino is sounding a lot better than Niang, mate. No offense.
Just
Sorry,
slightly.
I mean,
Just slightly.
Just a bit. Just a bit. Again, Niang's a great player, but
yeah, but probably just slightly. Yeah. Well,
Liz, how are you finding the season? If we're almost at the halfway stage, when we're coming towards the end of the winter break, I mean, how would you rate the team so far, the squad so far, and how do you see it? How do you see the rest of the season playing out?
Yeah, I think one of the best things about the team this season, I guess there was kind of questions on how reliant we were on Ibra when he was in the squad. So I think one of the stats that I saw is that all our squad players have played at least 13 minutes across all competitions. So I think that's probably the most reassuring thing for me, especially with COVID, knowing that players could be out through either COVID or with congested fixtures through injury. I think the most reassuring thing that I've seen is, I guess, our ability to work as a team, and one player's out, the next player's stepping in. I guess even it shows with Pioli out and Bonera coming in, it kind of works seamlessly. So for me, that's a real positive sign over, the football's been great, and we've definitely had Kessie, Teo, and I guess players having standout matches. But I think, as I said, the best thing for me is, I guess, the fact that we do have a really good squad. It might not be so strong on paper, but everyone stepped in and done their job once they've come in.
And can we keep it up, do you think, with the games in the second half of the season and a bit of a packed fixture list? Do you see us going all the way?
I mean, I'm not as good as a score predictor as Luke here. I'm not confident. I'm not right.
For us mere mortals, I mean, we can't be expected to compete with that, But I mean, yeah.
I know.
But I mean, yeah. But I mean, all right. Let's put it this way: Champions League, we're in the top 4. End of the season.
So. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I guess the other teams. I mean, I think there'll be some other contenders in there, but I think that Zlatan's done a really good job of kind of changing that mindset. I love the quote, I think during this week or last week, where he said, I've only got 2 sons in Sweden and I've got 25 here in Milan. So I think that's a pretty big thing if someone of his age is willing to spend that time away from his family, especially in such a difficult year with so much uncertainty around, I guess, even everyone's health, let alone football. I think that really shows that it's something that everyone really buys into and believes in. So yeah, I don't see why not. I guess if we keep playing the way we're playing and keep going on that track, I really don't see why not. We could potentially aim for the title.
Well, you've raised the kind of Zlatan effect. We always talk about it, whether it's him being kind of the biggest influence over the group, or whether it's purely, or whether it was COVID, whatever it was. I guess first of all, you've sort of somewhat answered it already, but do you think Zlatan is that main driver of that, or do you think it's a mix of everything? And 2, do you think Zlatan has somewhat influenced our, I guess, transfer policy with bringing in a few Swedish players and using his connections?
Yeah, I guess ultimately there's probably no one driver for a culture change in the club. So it's, if Pioli's allowing Zlatan to take that leadership role in certain areas, then I'm sure Pioli's probably leading in other ways and making other decisions. And I think that, I don't think that it can be a singular person that's enough to kind of change the environment. So I'm sure, he'd be working alongside Maldini as well in terms of bringing in the young talent. And I think it's, as much as we'd like to have as many Italian players as we can in the club, I think it's a good thing that we kind of have that pick at those Swedish players coming in. Because ultimately, if we're producing talented players that either go on to play for our team, then that's great that they've been within the environment, they understand the culture and they understand the way we play and our style of play. But I mean, ultimately, if our club's not right for them and we can move them on and use them, I guess, as an investment and bring that money in and use that towards our team, then that's a good thing as well. So I think it's probably been a reassuring thing to me that they're looking at the younger talent and bringing the younger players in. And I think it was nice to see. I think Zlatan down at those younger team sessions and working with the younger players, because someone of his experience can be really valuable to have around. Especially we need another 9. So if he can teach someone to do exactly what he does, I'd be really happy with that one.
Do you think the number 9's cursed?
Nah, I don't think so.
Well, what do you think, Shady?
Oof, some big boots to fill, I think, but not cursed. Yeah, it's just we need that consistent player to take to fill in Inzaghi's space, basically. And I would say the number 7 hasn't been filled yet since Shady left. I mean, I would argue. I mean, we haven't had a good number 7 since Shevchenko left as well. So
I'd
got
agree.
a few numbers there. Got a few numbers we need to fill.
Well, I guess in terms of that youth transfer policy, that's been not a big change this season, but I think it's been a change in how well they've gone. So I think over summer, the biggest signings that we had were Tonelli, Diaz, the loan, but also had Kalulu, Haga has been a pretty solid in. Salamakers is now a permanent, is that, I believe?
Yeah.
And then obviously I think the other few were Rebic and Kier, but they were, they're the older ones, and they were with us last season. But I think those younger signings that we've brought into the team have been pretty successful so far. I mean, we've already relied on Kalulu for a few games where we didn't think we'd have to. Tonelli's starting to show his form and show why we prove that investment was worth it. Diaz, a bit the same. I think that youth policy is starting to pay off a little bit.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah. Liz, talking about legendary number 9s, we're going to be facing people in Zaghi, our first game back after the break, Benevento. And they've been doing all right. I mean, I think they're 10th. They won the last 2 games before the break. They're looking okay. How do you feel going into the game? And is there anyone in particular, like on the team, that you think could really do us some harm?
Yeah, I think we'll, with our injuries and suspensions, I think it'll be good to see. I mean, Tonali's been in the squad for a few weeks now, but I think it just gives him another opportunity to work in with Kessie and Chola. So I guess I'm probably excited to see that midfield. I think that's where we've really hurt teams. But I'm excited to see that working in together.
That'd be good. Yeah. And Benevento as a whole, have you seen much of them this season? To be honest, I'll be the first to admit, I haven't seen too much of them. I've just been following some of the news because I want to see how people goes as a coach in Serie A again. But do you think it'll be a tricky game? Do you think we'll be comfortable?
I haven't seen too much of them, but yeah, I think I've taken over from you, Shady. I'm bringing the positivity and the I think I'm just backing us in, focusing on our team, and I guess focusing on our positivities, and hopefully we can do that up against any opposition that we come up against. I think it'll be good to see. I think there was talks that Rebic will be moving back out to the wing, and I think maybe with Teo out, he can maybe be better in that role. So I know that he was great at Frankfurt. I'm still really waiting to see him hit some long shots from range, because there's some great highlights of him in that team, and I think that we probably haven't seen that from him yet. But I don't know if it's maybe we're playing him too close to goal, or maybe he actually works better further away. So it'll be interesting to see maybe with Teo not being down that side and overlapping and maybe getting into those attacking areas, if that maybe gives Rebic a bit more opportunity to do so.
Yeah, yeah. I love. Sorry, you go, Shady.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say I love seeing Rebic on that wing. Just almost his tenacity and that domination, where he'll just push past players.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you prefer him starting, or because we saw a lot of the time last season he was that superstar sub. You prefer him starting, I assume?
I think it's a hard one though, because I mean he can really I guess maybe against teams that aren't as confident, I think he can really give impact right from the start of the game.
Yeah.
But then if we're looking for that change, he can be really influential as a sub. So I don't know. I love to see him in the team, and I think that maybe as he gets more minutes, he's still kind of, I know he's been back for a while, but he did have kind of a slow start to the season. I'm hoping that he's just on the improve, and he can start to have impact right off the first minute. I don't think it's worth leaving a player. I know, just my opinion. I don't think it's worth leaving a player on the bench in the hope that they'll bring you something. I guess like if they're going to bring you something, hopefully they can do that in the entire match, not just in the last 10 minutes. I think I don't want to be waiting for the last 10 or 15 minutes for us to get a result. I'd like to be a bit calmer before that, I think.
Sure. So that means Leao starting on the bench.
I think there was talks of Leao starting as a 9.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Leao starting up front, right? And Rebic on the wing.
Yeah.
I think that's why I heard too. Yeah. It's just a matter of who's going to be on the right, because like you were saying, Salamakers is out of this match, so it's a matter of who's gonna get the nod.
Yeah. I did love that Pioli, I don't know who it was, but I assume Pioli had something to do with it. Obviously Leao was in on it as well. The 6-second goal. Obviously, I'm assuming they had watched footage before that and they knew that was going to be a thing that they could pounce on. It's cool to see that they knew that and they had obviously studied it. So, I mean, yeah, Leao obviously has proven that he can play in that spot.
Yeah, let's hope he can show that again against Benevento. So is it prediction time, did you say?
Let's do it. Liz, you start first. You're the guest.
Alrighty. I think we've got Ken Romagnoli back, so I'm hoping we can keep a clean sheet for this game. So I'm gonna go for 2-0, and I'm gonna go ambitious. I'm gonna go for hopefully a Rebic goal.
Oh, nice.
Okay, good.
You go, Shady.
All right, I'll go 3-1. I'll go 3-1. Still sorting out our defense, I think. Hopefully they'll have sorted out by the Juventus game midweek. And yeah, 3-1. I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be comfortable.
You know what? I'm gonna say that they've had a little bit of time off now. I don't know. I saw some photos of them management with the team in the rooms. I read a few things about how the team was staying over Christmas and working. A few of them were working during their holidays. I'm going to say that there's a lot of this like suspicion that we're going to drop off for this next half of the season. So I'll back us in and say 3-0, and they're going to they're going to start the year off well. 2021's our year, even though 2020 was sort of our year as well.
Do you think we can replicate the goal within 6 seconds again, Luke?
I hope so. I really hope so. Well, if I tell you what, if another team falls for that, they're seriously, and if it's a team led by Inzaghi, you'd be surprised. Surely not. Yeah.
See how that goes. Liz, it's been great having you with us. I mean, really enjoyed this. I mean, I'm sure Luke agrees with me. We'd love to have you on again with us, and yeah, I hope this season goes on, and yeah, just see how we're going as a whole. It would be good to get your insight and feedback on everything.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been fun.
It's been really good. All right, well, I guess I'll steal it this time, Shady. You usually say this, but as always,
I was great.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
Good talking.
All right, likewise.